Frustration is the alarm clock of destiny. Those words aren't just poetic, they're diagnostic. Frustration is not the problem, it is the symptom. The real question is, what is your frustration trying to wake you up to? Frustration often gets a bad reputation. It's labeled as a negative emotion, an inconvenience, or a weakness. But in reality, frustration is a powerful internal signal. It's your mind and body's way of telling you that you've outgrown something. It means the current reality is no longer aligned with your potential, your values, or your direction. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how children become restless when their clothes become too small? They pull, tug, cry, and complain. They don't have the vocabulary to say, "This doesn't fit me anymore," but their discomfort communicates it loud and clear. Adults are no different. When your role, environment, habits, or relationships no longer fit who you're becoming, frustration is how your soul tugs at you. You're not broken, you're expanding. And expansion always creates pressure. Frustration can stem from a variety of sources: lack of progress, feeling undervalued, being misunderstood, or experiencing repeated obstacles. But behind every form of frustration is a misalignment. You are either not where you should be or not doing what you should be doing. That internal discontent is your system's way of rejecting stagnation. If you suppress frustration without decoding it, you'll internalize it as depression or explode in misdirected anger. But when you decode frustration, you convert pain into purpose. Ask yourself, what keeps irritating me and why? Where do I feel stuck, and what growth might that resistance be asking of me? What situations drain me, and what would energize me instead? These questions are your roadmap. They turn frustration into feedback. You see, frustration doesn't mean you're off course. It often means you're on the brink of transformation. Many people misread frustration as failure, when in reality, it's a sign that your current level can no longer hold your future. You're in the in-between, too evolved for the past, but not yet equipped for the next level. It's uncomfortable, but it's also fertile ground for reinvention. The key is to stop treating frustration as an enemy and start treating it as information. Think of it like friction in a machine. Wherever there's friction, there's something that needs adjustment, lubrication, or realignment. Your life works the same way. One of the most overlooked truths is this: frustration is not always about others. Sometimes it's a mirror showing you where you've tolerated too little progress, too much compromise, or too little self-honesty. You can't always control your environment, but you can control your response to it. And that's where your power lies. In fact, frustration is often the moment right before the breakthrough. It's like the buildup of pressure before a volcano erupts, not to destroy, but to release what's been dormant beneath the surface. Your job is not to avoid that eruption, but to channel it. So if you're frustrated, take a deep breath and say, "Something in me is ready to grow. Let me find what that is." Because the truth is, frustration is not failure, it's the seed of clarity. If you can stay with it long enough to uncover what it's trying to show you, you'll begin to understand that frustration isn't your enemy. It's your internal GPS recalculating. Understanding your frustration is only the beginning. The next step is converting that insight into clarity, and clarity into momentum. The mistake most people make is stopping at awareness. They identify what's frustrating them, but don't take the leap toward action. Why? Because action requires courage. It requires challenging the comfort of routine. But remember, comfort is not the same as alignment. You can be comfortable, and still be deeply unfulfilled. So how do you transform frustration into fuel? Vagueness is the enemy of progress. Instead of saying, I'm just frustrated, get specific. Are you frustrated with a lack of direction, poor communication in your relationships, stagnation in your career, repetition without reward? The more precisely you define the frustration, the more power you have to address it. Clarity sharpens your focus and eliminates distraction. You stop fighting everything and you start changing the right thing. Frustration often comes from a violated expectation, something you assumed would happen but didn't. Uncover that expectation and ask, was it realistic? Was it clearly communicated? Was it based on who I am now or who I used to be? Once you identify the gap between expectation and reality, you can choose to adjust your expectation, change your approach, or redesign the environment entirely. Frustration means your current method is no longer effective. That's not a verdict on you. It's a cue to upgrade your strategy. Maybe you're still using old skills in a new game. Maybe you're doing too much of what you're good at and not enough of what you're meant for. Maybe you're stuck in reactive mode, waiting for the perfect moment instead of creating it. Real momentum comes when you move from reaction to intentional design. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this revealing in me? Now you become proactive. You begin to create new boundaries, refine your goals, adjust your pace, align your schedule with your value. This is how frustration becomes fuel. It forces you to rebuild your system in alignment with who you are becoming, not who you were. Frustration is also a signal that your environment might not match your evolution. The people, habits, or routines that once supported you may now be stifling you. You can't plant a redwood in a flower pot. The roots will outgrow the container. You'll feel tight, confined, constrained, not because you're weak, but because you're bigger than your surroundings. Ask yourself, what relationships no longer energize me? What habits are out of sync with my current goals? What routines do I need to disrupt in order to grow? Don't be afraid to outgrow people, spaces, or systems. Growth is not disrespect, it's natural. Once you've diagnosed the frustration and redesigned your approach, you must take the final step, reframing your story. This is where the fuel ignites. You've been telling yourself a story about your frustration. Maybe it goes like this: nothing ever works for me. I'm always stuck. People don't appreciate me. I'm just unlucky. But those are not facts. They're scripts, unconscious narratives you've rehearsed and believed. If you want to move forward, you need to rewrite the script. Here's a new narrative. My frustration means I'm outgrowing my old limits. I'm becoming aware of what no longer fits. This discomfort is making me precise. This pressure is proof I'm ready for more. That reframing isn't just positive thinking. It's empowering truth. And from that truth comes energy. Why? Because a new story creates new behaviors. And new behaviors create new results. Fueling your future with intentional action. Now is the time to act. Every moment you spend wishing things were different is a moment you could spend making them different. Here's how to channel frustration forward. Choose one area of your life to redesign. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick the area that's causing the most tension and commit to daily improvement. Use frustration as focus. Let it fuel your commitment, not your complaint. Don't just feel more, Do more with clarity. Number 3, momentum through movement. Action cures anxiety. Even the smallest step forward builds confidence. Build the habit of moving forward even before you feel fully ready. Surround yourself with alignment. Don't just hang out with people who make you feel good. Be with those who challenge you to become better. Your energy is your future's fuel. Protect it. The new philosophy. Here's a new mindset to carry forward. If I'm frustrated, I'm ready to evolve. If I'm stuck, I'm being invited to shift. If I'm angry, I'm being called to realign. Frustration is not a dead end, it's a detour, a sign, an invitation. So don't numb it, don't run from it, don't deny it, channel it. Because when you understand what frustration really is, a signal, not a sentence, you unlock the next level of your life. Let it fuel your focus, let it sharpen your strategy, let it clarify your path, let it fire up your future. Frustration is not just a response, it's energy. And all energy, when channeled correctly, produces motion. The key is directing that energy into intelligent effort. It's not enough to be busy. The question is, are you moving in the direction of your design? Some of the most successful people in history became great, not because they avoided frustration, but because they learned to pivot when it showed up. When your efforts meet resistance, don't just push harder, step back and look smarter. Maybe you don't need to quit the journey. Maybe you just need to change your route. Sometimes your strategy needs tweaking, not abandoning. Are you doing the right thing the wrong way? Are you using yesterday's methods for tomorrow's challenges? Are you stuck in repetition instead of evolution? Frustration gives you the opportunity to reassess. What you learn in moments of pressure can accelerate your progress far beyond what comfort ever could. Your life will only rise to the quality of the questions you ask. Poor questions lead to poor focus, which leads to poor action. Frustrated people often ask, why me? When will this end? Why is it always like this? But empowered people ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? What skill, boundary, or belief do I need to develop now? How can I use this resistance as leverage? These questions shift your brain out of complaint mode and into creative problem solving. The moment you upgrade your questions, you upgrade your power. One of the most valuable skills you'll ever build is frustration tolerance. This doesn't mean you learn to suffer quietly. It means you develop the emotional maturity to stay in the process long enough to grow through it. Growth always creates tension, and the truth is most people give up not because they lack talent, but because they can't sit with the in-between, the moment when the seed has been planted but nothing has sprouted yet. The moment where effort feels invisible and unrewarded. That's where most people quit. But that's also where transformation is happening. If you want to do anything meaningful, build a business, write a book, transform your body, raise a family, master a craft, you will face frustration. But if you build your capacity to stay focused during friction, you become unstoppable. Remember, the ability to remain is as valuable as the ability to start. Don't just track what triggers your frustration, train with it. If certain meetings, conversations, or obstacles regularly frustrate you, turn them into practice fields. Let those moments become your gym. Use them to build patience, communication clarity, preservation, boundary setting, strategic thinking. Every frustration is a signal that something in you is being stretched or sharpened. The next time you feel triggered, say to yourself, I'm in training. That single thought changes everything. Frustration often spikes when you feel powerless. That's why one of the fastest ways to transform it is to shift your focus to what you can control. You can control your attention, your response, your habits, your planning, your energy boundaries, your mindset, your effort. Energy flows where focus goes. When you take responsibility for what's within your reach, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for change and start creating it. Even small changes add up. Adjust your sleep, tighten your morning routine, clear out digital distractions, move your body, speak up where you've been silent. Each move gives you back momentum. Let's be clear, frustration is not comfortable, but it is useful. And if you respond to it with courage, awareness, and intention, it becomes your advantage. Frustration means you've outgrown where you are. You're aware enough to desire more. You're strong enough to shift. You're ready for an upgrade. But it's up to you to answer that call. Don't settle for numbing your frustration with distraction. Don't drown it in entertainment, food, endless scrolling, or blame. That's how dreams die, quietly while being ignored. Instead, sit with it, study it, convert it, then act on it. Let frustration reveal where you're misaligned, expose what needs to be rebuilt, awaken your dormant strength, activate your inner leader. Remember, frustration is the alarm clock of destiny. It is your inner world saying you are meant for more than this. It's not asking you to run, it's asking you to rise. So take that fire, don't waste it. Use it to launch your next idea, reinvent your strategy, level up your habits, redesign your relationships, clarify your mission, because you were not born to stay stuck. You were born to evolve, to expand, to create over and over again. Let this be the moment where everything shifts. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because you decided to stop resisting the pressure and start using it. Your frustration isn't the end. It's the beginning. Most people want relief from frustration. But those who build meaningful lives don't seek relief. They seek mastery. Mastery over emotion, thought, behavior, and choices. They learn to use frustration, not escape it. Because here's the truth. Frustration is a form of energy. It's the pressure created when your vision exceeds your current reality. It's the tension between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. And energy, when focused, becomes power. So let's master this energy. Frustration doesn't just show up once. It comes in cycles. You grow, hit a wall, feel pressure, push through, grow again, and repeat. Understanding this cycle keeps you from being blindsided by emotional dips. You realize frustration isn't a sign to stop, it's a signal to level up. The cycle looks like this. 1, comfort zone, everything feels stable. 2, tension. You begin to outgrow your current level. 3, frustration misalignment intensifies. Something must shift. 4, adjustment. You change your behavior, boundaries. 5, expansion. You grow into a new rhythm. 6, new normal. Your new baseline is established. Every time you feel overwhelmed or stagnant, go back to this cycle. Ask, where am I right now? If you're in frustration, you're on the verge of a shift. Lean in. Frustration is often the surface emotion. Beneath it are more specific feelings: disappointment, fear, grief, guilt, regret, or unmet ambition. The clearer you get, the more targeted your response can be. Practice emotional intelligence like this. Instead of saying, "I'm just tired of everything," try, "I feel underutilized, and that's making me restless." Instead of "I hate my job," try, "I feel boxed in because my creativity isn't being tapped." Precision with emotion builds precision in action. That's when you stop reacting and start responding with power. Let's put theory into practice with examples. Frustration as catalyst. Case 1, the employee who felt invisible. Meet someone stuck in a mid-level role, overlooked for promotions, and feeling deeply frustrated. Instead of quitting immediately, they use frustration to identify the gap: low visibility and unclear communication with decision makers. They spent 3 months rebuilding their internal brand, taking on leadership tasks, communicating results, and asking for feedback. That led to a promotion within 6 months. Same environment, new strategy. Frustration was the fuel. Frustration as invention. Case 2, the entrepreneur who was stuck. Another person wanted to launch a business but kept failing at execution. After 3 failed product launches, they took their frustration seriously, not emotionally, but analytically. They realized they were trying to please everyone instead of solving one clear problem. That clarity sparked a focused pivot, and in 6 months, they built a 6-figure side business by solving one niche pain point. The frustration didn't stop them, it refined their model. Frustration often creates the pressure that forges precision. Use it. Your future isn't shaped by how you feel, it's shaped by how you train. These fuel rituals help channel daily frustration into forward motion. Morning reset. Every morning, ask, what frustrated me yesterday? What part of it was in my control? What one action today can move me out of that friction? This replaces reactive days with intentional ones. Evening download. At the end of each day, ask, where did I waste energy today? What triggered me emotionally? What did I learn about myself? Documenting daily frustration builds wisdom. You start noticing patterns and breaking loops. Movement breaks. Frustration builds tension in the body. You need a release valve. Use motion. Walk, stretch, run, dance, punch a bag. Don't underestimate the connection between emotional clarity and physical movement. 10, minute power planning. Set aside 10 minutes daily to design solutions for small recurring frustrations. Fix the small leaky pipes before they flood your focus. These small victories add up to big momentum. True success isn't the absence of frustration. It's the ability to convert it into fulfillment. When frustration meets purpose, something beautiful happens. You stop chasing comfort and start chasing impact. You stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I build? The people who leave a mark are not the ones who had easy paths. They're the ones who turned their deepest frustration into their clearest mission. The activist frustrated by injustice becomes the change maker. The teacher frustrated by outdated methods becomes the innovator. The creator frustrated by limitation becomes the visionary. In every great movement, there's a moment of intolerable pressure that birthed a new standard. You can be the same, but you have to stop shrinking when pressure shows up. and start showing up bigger. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not falling behind. You are simply at a threshold. Frustration is not failure. It is the fire that comes when your future is calling and your present can no longer contain your potential. So let that fire burn off what no longer serves you. Let it burn. The fear of judgment, the comfort of compromise, the illusion of perfection. So the lie that you're not enough. Because the moment you turn inward and say, this frustration is my signal, this is my next level knocking, everything changes. The goal isn't to eliminate frustration. The goal is to use it. Use it to clarify your next step, deepen your strategy, elevate your voice, expand your capacity. From this moment forward, let frustration be your compass, not your cage. You don't need to numb it. You don't need to fear it. You just need to listen to it and lead through it. Because frustration is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of the chapter where you rise